Hello everybody, let's get this thing in the tripod and then we'll get started. Hello and welcome. Alright, welcome to, hi, my name is Sebastian. Welcome to the Galactic Seabass channel for a special late night podcast, episode 20 of the Galactic Seabass channel. We have made it on quite an adventure so far. It's been 7 years. 7 years of making videos on the old YouTubes. And now we're making podcasts. We're 20 episodes in. We're one episode away from a, what's it called? The 99% mark, where 99% of podcasts fail. So one episode away. And we're doing this super late. I've had an absolutely crazy day, so I'm hoping, I think I meant to say hopeful and hoping, but yeah, I'm hopeful that I can share some insight about my week here with you guys, and you know, hopefully take something away from this that's beneficial. If this is your first time on the channel, thank you so much for being here. If you hit that like button, that would be super cool, and if you want to hit the subscribe button, that would be even cooler. Anyway, that would be super cool, so go ahead and hit that little sub for me. Once we hit the 5,000 mark, I don't know what happens, but that seems pretty cool, and we're really, really close. So let's go ahead and push those buttons, guys. Thank you so much for your support. This is my dog, Ollie. He's very cool. I also have a cat named Andy, who's in a bit of a situation right now. He, I don't know, just came home the other night and his eye was all messed up, and trying to raise the money to take him to the doctor, and I just took Ollie to the doctor, and now Ollie's better, but now Andy's sick, and it's like, everything's always just, it's always something, right? It's not one thing, it's the other. I had a court appointment today for a stop sign and pleaded not guilty, so I have to go to trial now. Like, some kind of criminal dude, but I'll have court in November. Hopefully that goes in my favor. And then what else happened today? Did some work, met some nice people, gave them some rides. A buddy of mine, or my neighbor, really, I've never actually hung out with this guy. A few weeks ago I was hanging out with this lady and he walked over, real strange, like he just kind of came over out of the blue, like, hey, do you want to hang out? And I was like, not really, like there's a girl on my couch, I don't really want to kick it with you right now, broski. And he ended up just randomly being like, hey, do you like Odessa? Do you want to go see Odessa? And I thought, yeah, I like Odessa, you know, I've always been a fan of them. They have a really cool drum line. I've seen those TikTok videos recently, and it sounded great. And so he thought, like, oh, okay, cool, sweet. He goes back to his place, then a few minutes later comes back, he's like, all right, I bought the tickets. And I was like, wait, you didn't already have these tickets? You just bought them right now for us? That seems like a lot. We never hung out before. The girl I was with was like, hey, do you think he just needs like a buddy? So I invited him over for a little bit, but definitely like an energy vampire. Dude just sucked everything I had out of me in like a couple minutes, and thought, oh my gosh, can I really handle a concert with this guy? And I should have listened to my gut, because I ended up going to go see Odessa. So I went to court, and then I got home and I got changed, and we zipped over there. He did get me a ticket though, and he gave me this beer, so shouts out. That was crazy. So we ended up going to see Odessa, and he wanted to like do psychedelics beforehand, and I thought, all right, no, dude, I can't. Like, you're already a lot of energy. I can't kind of do that with you, and I'd prefer to be on that level, honestly. So he ended up doing something. I don't want to go into too much detail, but it's a very minute descript one tab for anybody that needs a reference, just one. And we go see the show. Our tickets are in like the back top lawn area. So it'd be here, and then another layer, and then another layer, and another layer, and then another layer, and then the pit, and then the stage. And we were all the way up at the top, so we just slowly kind of worked our way down, and then had to kind of sneak into the last section where we're in the first front row of seats, but the pit is still just ahead of us. And so I told the guy, you know, on 3, we're going to rush this fence and go run into the pit, okay? And on 3, that's exactly what I did. And I look back, and he never made it. And like an hour goes by, and he never made it. And I was trying to stay there. I sent pins and my location and pictures, and I tried to make sure everything was good. And he never made it. He never texted me. He kept calling in the middle of the pit in this loud concert, and that was useless. So eventually the show's over, and I go back to the car. It takes me probably 10 minutes to find the car. I waited the car for at least an hour, like at least an hour. And then finally, I'm frustrated. I just want to go home. Everybody in the parking lot is left, and now it's just me, and the cops are driving around, and I just want to get out of there. And I call the guy, and he won't tell me where he is. He won't tell me how to find him. He keeps giving me these vague descriptions and keeps trying to FaceTime me, and I start losing my mind. I start just, what do you do? And it was so frustrating. And eventually an hour and a half has gone by. I drove halfway out of the festival and got to the last exit gate where I pulled into this lot and tried to call him a bunch of times. This random dude comes up to my car, just leans on the window. He's super trashed, absolutely is faded, but needs a ride home. He ends up living a few blocks from me, so I told him I'd give him a ride for some cash. He gives me all his cash, sits in the back, and now I'm ready to go home and take this guy, but he convinces me that I should stay and find my neighbor. So 2 hours, 45 minutes later, we find this guy like 3 miles from the event in some residential neighborhood, just sitting on an electrical box. And I will probably never hang out with that guy ever again. But that was a fun little adventure for sure. Nothing like stage worthy or anything, but boy oh boy, that was a hassle. Went from this really fun concert to like, oh cool, we're gonna go afterwards, have some fun, to nope, we're just gonna sit and get angrily frustrated at this guy for a while. And that's what I did. So that was a hefty one for sure. But we made it through, and we saw Odessa. And it was pretty cool. Honestly, the show was great. They put on a great little drumline show. The only vocals they had were like a few pop-in artists that came to visit, which is pretty cool. I had this idea that I wanted to talk about the Saw series because I recently watched episodes 1 through 6, or I guess, is that really an episode? If it's a movie, like our movies episodes, if it's in a series, or the first 6 chapters of the series, I suppose. Anyway, I watched all those trying to find the continuity because the new Saw X is coming out next month, and I wanted to have a cool little like insight thing for that. So, I don't really have enough information to dive down into the end of it. I think I have to finish the rest of the movies before we get down like the nitty gritty of the predictions for the new film. But we are excited for that new Saw one. And, like they seem to always deliver, and it's a good series. I remember when I was a little kid, I went to go see a movie with my grandma in Stamford, Connecticut, at the movie theater, and you know, she's an old woman. She had some old lady friends. And we were at the box office, and I'll never forget, they said hi to my grandma, she said hi back, and my baba said, what are you ladies seeing? And they said, oh, we're going to go see Brokeback Mountain, with this cute little old lady face, and they saw gay cowboys that day. And I don't think that's what they thought they were going to see, but they sure did. And I remember on the way up to go see whatever film that we saw, I don't remember, but I saw the poster for Saw, you know, the foot and the hacksaw, and it was just like saw. And I forget the little, like the motto. What do they call the little one line they put on a poster? It's like the little tag that they'll try to sell the movie with when you're buying the DVD. Like, oh, this DVD looks pretty cool. It's got a funny little quip right there on the end. Somehow, in a matter of seconds, he absolutely just coated me head to toe in dog hair. That is fascinating. Ollie, you're a menace, but I love you. You're a good boy. You are a good boy, and so is your brother, Andy, who's all kept away right now. I wonder how much you can actually see in my background. I don't want you guys to know too much about my life. Yeah, like this thing, this thing right here. Oh my gosh, Are you dating if you let them bring your washer and dryer in your house and do 12 loads of laundry? Or are you just a situation ship at that point? Because I think I broke up with my lady yesterday. And I would really like to get this out of my house because it's a big item. Yeah, that's annoying, but it's life. What are you gonna do? And she has my portable phone charger, which is what I usually use to keep these podcasts alive. So, gonna get that back. I'm putting that thing on Craigslist. Best believe that. My buddy Chris just turned 33 a few minutes ago. Shouts out to Chris. He might stop over in a little bit. Might be kind of fun, a little impromptu guest podcast thing. Everybody want to take a step in the mix. I should have had more things to talk about today. This might be kind of like a shorter episode because it's super late and we're all dead inside. I'm just trying to live out the moments. But we're here. We're doing this. Yeah, we saw Odessa. The show was cool. We did find the guy. We got him home. I made some cash money from our friend. Shouts out to the dude who needed a ride home and happened to be 3 blocks from where I live, because otherwise it would have been super inconvenient. But it wasn't, because it all worked out, just as these things often do. But let's see what's going on in comedy. In the comedy world, I hit my 350th set, my Loch Ness Monster set. I've done about 350. That's when I realized I wasn't a comedian. I was a 50-foot creature from the Cretaceous era. I do like that scene. South Park absolutely smashed the Tree Fitty episode. I said, you ain't no Girl Scout, you the Loch Ness Monster. Like, what? Who wrote that? What are you looking for, buddy? Is that your ball? Is that a ball? Yeah, big old ball. That's cute. You're a good boy. Hey! Shh! Hey! Shh! 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 It's late, buddy. Hey, what's up, good dude? You have like clown makeup on or something. I like it. Ollie, it's his birthday. Did you know that? It's Chris's birthday! What? He's gonna knock over the tripod! What? Hey, Chris, would you like to join us? You look freaky right now, dude. You good?
I am freaky.
You cool?
I'm the coolest.
This is about to get squirrely. All right, here we go. This is a live podcast, so go ahead and here, watch out. On the bed, please. You little psycho. Good boy. Come on in, dude. Take a seat. Welcome.
Yes.
I was about to sit on something.
Oh, there's. I think I said something.
What's up, man? Oh, how are you? Life good?
Life is grand. Life is peachy.
Hell yeah. Peachy Keen. 33. 33 in the mix.
33.
You drinking Liquid Death?
Birthday 9/29/1990.
This episode is brought to you by Liquid Death.
3 times 3
Is
plus
9.
So it's kind of weird. So this year's gonna be a big
Big ol' 9.
old year.
Remember, you ever see that movie 9 by Tim Burton? That cool, like the 9 rag dolls?
Yeah, Tim Burton is great.
Yeah, but have you seen it? That one was sick. It was like this apocalyptic era where he put 9 parts of his soul into these 9 dolls. And they each like live on vicariously, like as an internal part of him. It's kind of cool. It's like a really neat film. It's called 9. It's a pretty fun one. Wonder if we got anybody watching right now. Nope. Nobody's watching, but we're doing this.
Whoa.
Welcome. How you doing, bud?
Hello, world.
Chris, what have you learned in your 33 years of life on planet Earth? What advice would you give to like a teenage version of yourself if you had a minute with him?
I would give the answer to the world.
Which is
42.
brought to you by the
Just kidding.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Do you have any real advice? That's funny. Oh boy, I told you this episode was gonna get squirrely. Oh boy. That sounded like a Dementor. That was crazy. You want to scoot over a little bit? And make it more even. This is bad luck. I'm gonna do that. There we go. So what's up with you, man?
Well, you know, just
What's the last big
taking-
concert you saw?
taking step by step every day, working.
How's work?
Working till the bones.
Fall off the meat?
Pretty much. And in today's society.
Yep.
Society.
Pretty sure it's a society. Society. Associate. Associate.
Associates.
Oh boy, excuse me. Temporary hiatus. That was not what I wanted to advertise to the world, but that is my real life, so hello. Please don't show my mom that clip. Yeah, so like, this is the 20th episode of my podcast. We're 20 episodes in. What was life like for you when you were 20?
When I was 20, I was living in Florida, buying
Playing.
when I was 20, I was living in Florida, and life was beautiful. It was great. And then it came a time where summertime was the time. I flew to New York.
Okay. In the summer of your 20th year?
Yeah. And do not go to New York. Because New York.
I like New York. Every once in a while. It's got a really cool comedy scene.
Yeah. Spent my time there.
Had a good time?
Just overstayed my welcome.
Yeah.
Too fast paced for me.
I like New York. Yeah, when I was 20, I was like a year into San Diego. And I was probably living in Poway, working at a Subway, saving up my money, and then eventually I would end up moving out of Poway and going to... I think I just wandered for a while. think I was just living at the beach for a little bit, just doing the car thing, waking up and going surfing. Even though I didn't know how to surf, which was pretty funny. Like, I would sleep overnight in PB and wake up and go hit the water and then not catch a wave all day because I didn't know what I was doing. Or I camped on the beach at Blacks one time with my friend Dwayne and woke up at like 6 a.m. on a shortboard and went to go paddle out and paddled out, but I didn't catch a single wave that day. It was a very funny little moment, a little series of moments.
It's kind of like
20 changed a lot of things for me.
when I was skateboarding. I'd watch a video, run out, all stoked, ready to fucking tear it up,
Mm-hmm.
hit a rock and fall.
Yeah, I've been there. Yeah, I've got a lot of
And that's
scars from stupid little rocks over the years.
that's a lot of 20 for me.
Yeah. 21 was pretty sick. 21 got crazy. I went to Europe. I moved into my first apartment. Like, yeah, 20 was cool. That was like the beginning of my California adventure on the real. Like when it really started kind of popping off. It was neat. When'd you move to California?
5 years ago,
5 years.
I think.
So you saw a little bit of it pre-COVID?
The year.
A little bit?
Yeah, pre-COVID.
We met pre-COVID, right? Like we were in the van together when COVID was happening, right?
Yeah.
Whoa. I remember having to go to band practice that one day and the Vans koozie I have in my car, I had to wear it on my face and like tied it with a shoestring.
Yeah.
Because they wanted me to wear a mask. And like,
It got weird.
I was feeling like kind of sick in the beginning. And I probably totally had COVID, honestly. This was like March, April 2020, something like that. And damn, that was a trip, dude. Like, I had a girlfriend. Remember I brought Melanie that one time to the show? To like the band practice.
Yeah.
That was pretty crazy. I wrote a whole song about that girl, and I gave her a rose on Valentine's Day anonymously, and she sent me a voice memo to fuck off. So I highly recommend not dropping off roses to your exes on any kind of holiday. It is a bad idea. Don't do it. Even if you think you're just being nice, don't do it. You heard it from me.
It's a terrible idea.
It's a terrible idea. I think in hindsight, I probably should have just not done that. I gave it to her boss on the downstairs level, and he's like, "Who's it from?" I'm like, "Don't worry about it. Just give it to her and be like, yeah, every girl deserves a rose on Valentine's Day." And apparently that is not the case. So,
It's silly.
and then I met a new girl, and she changed my life, and that was awesome. And then we broke up at Burning Man. You know, it's funny, like, there's this expression out at Burning Man. It says, "Don't take anything that you're not willing to lose." And I wish somebody would have told me that before I brought my goddamn girlfriend. No, that's true. Just did a bit on the podcast. If you come see me live, you might hear that. But that's, sorry I took the Lord's name in vain there, too. I've been trying to make a valiant effort to not do that. So my apologies to J-Min and the Big G. But, I have no idea what I was just talking about. That's okay. What are you going to do with your life tomorrow now that you're 33 years old?
So I met this guy
You met a guy? You gonna get married?
at Tilted State tonight,
Nice.
and he was a first-time Burning Man
Oh yeah, this year?
from the UK.
Oh, no way. First time burner from the UK. You went this year?
Yep.
Ooh, bad idea. That's okay.
And
I heard all the stories.
he said he had a great time.
He probably did. Like, just a little rain. Everybody that like saw the videos of the rain and the mud, like, it can't take away from the feeling that you get when you're actually out there. You know, like when you're actually on the playa, surrounded by everybody doing that thing. Like a little weather, a little inclement weather. Like if that's gonna turn you off, then like maybe you shouldn't be there.
Right.
But honestly, I'm kind of glad I didn't go this year. Last year was too heavy for me, and the mud is a lot. Like if you brought a bicycle or anything like that, you couldn't ride it. It's just too thick. It's like that kind of sludge where you put a clean shoe in, and when you take it off, there's like a 2-inch coat on the bottom, on every side, and like it's dripping, so it's 3 times heavier as soon as you pick it up.
I personally didn't go to Burning Man this year,
You had an opportunity.
but if I would have been there and it started raining, I wouldn't have moved my vehicle or bicycle.
Yeah, you should just leave them stationary. Let the rain come in, do its thing.
I would have just hunkered down and looked around and got to know
Yeah.
my surroundings of the beautiful burn.
It's true. Yeah. Do you know that all the property that's left out there of like more than 96 hours or whatever, it's federal. It's the Federal Bureau of Land Management, like BLM. So all property can be claimed by like the authorities if they leave it. So all the RVs, all the cars, like they're gonna get so much stuff and be able to just sell that, give it back to the department or the city, or depending, I don't know where the money actually goes, but
I mean,
it's an interesting thing to think about. They're going to get a lot of cars were just abandoned, which is wild to think about the money that's going into it too. Everybody wants to go. I mean, there's not a lot of people in America right now who have the financial privilege to be able to throw away an entire RV. And they're like, yeah, it's just like, I don't want to wait. I'll just walk and leave it. Like, that's, if you gave me the, like, I had to leave my car right now somewhere, I'd have to wait it out. I need my car to live. Because I'm not in that boat of, like, super elite, they just kind of abandon everything. Not to mention the destruction of the land they left. Like, you're supposed to leave no trace. If you're leaving an entire car, that's a problem. Excuse me, and it's definitely traceable. Like, like, you're not supposed to leave a cigarette butt. Who leaves a whole car? That's just, it's still trash. Like, if you're just gonna treat it that way, because you couldn't drive it in the mud. Yeah, it's a two-wheel drive Camry. Like, it's not meant to survive in the wetland desert. But you decided to take it, so it's your responsibility to get it out of there. It's a good chance that Burning Man won't happen again next year because of all this influx of, waste that they left on the property from all these people abandoning their stuff. Like the oil deposits that'll come from the cars, like the amount of like just damage to the lands itself. Like people trying to drive in the mud. I mean, it's just one of those things. Like this might be one of those impossible years to recover from.
Yeah, it's almost like a what's it called?
Can't think of the tip of your tongue, but the craziest part to me is this year too is that they didn't burn the man until Monday. Most people leave like Sunday night before the temple burns, and if not, they'll leave like Monday afternoon during like the main day. So you had to basically stay at Burning Man the entire event and an extra day if you wanted to watch the man burn and have that thing go down. So everybody that left early, like in that big exodus line, they totally missed the actual event, like the main reason why you're there, when they burn the man.
And
it's the most fun night too, because if you end up, check it out, like okay, the whole thing is a circle, right? Like the man's in the middle, he's the clock, his arms go to 3 and 9, he looks at 6, and the back of his head goes to 12. He's literally a clock center, and every time you look at him you can know how to get home, because your home is based on a time of the day and a letter. So the letters go from like it's shaped like a horseshoe, so it goes out like this, and the campground is like little arches that go down. But the first one is Main Street, Main Street, and then you got A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and if you can think about a clock, the way it works, like it'll point over here, and it's like this is 3, so I live at like 4:30 and B, or I live at 6 and G. Like that's how you learn to like map where you are. And on the burn night, the man has been your compass all week, and then they burn him and he's gone. So you're out there in the middle of nowhere. You have no fucking reference to know how to get home. And you're like, I think we live by the big pink elephant. Like, and so you're just trying, it's this whole new adventure of finding the way around the city, and it's magical.
It's like a rebirth.
It totally is. It's sick. And then, on Saturday you have this big, beautiful party where the band burns and everyone goes, yeah, let's go, yeah. And then Sunday, the temple burns, and the temple is this place where people all week they'll leave belongings of their deceased loved ones, like their partners, people that have died. They'll write notes to them and leave pictures and embolisms and all kinds of things in memory of these people. And then Sunday they burn the temple, and it's you go from Saturday like yeah to Sunday just silent. The same amount of people sitting in a big silent circle. It's mesmerizing, dude. And if you put like I wrote things in there for my dad, for my grandma, like my grandpa. I've tried to thank the loved ones that have left my life over the years, and like I have a lot of friends that I've lost and wrote things to and left things for. And you watch that stuff go up in flames, and you think about all the other ones. If you walk through there and really read that stuff, like how many people have lost people, you're just like, damn, it really hits you in the soul. And that one, so you watch that burn, and then it's like this very beautiful kind of peaceful serenade, and then afterwards it's more just like a chill. All right, well, that was it. Better have some fun. So this year they didn't get to do that. I think they might have even switched it and gone like temple to Manburn, and like most people left. Sad. I don't even know. Just seemed like this year was a shit show. That never ever gone down this way. So I'm glad I saw it in its full potential, because that definitely like would have thrown me off.
I do know a couple of people that have gone, and they had a good time. They said it was
From
great.
this year?
They said it was great,
That's cool.
even with all the rain. And
Yeah, it could just be something we've seen on social media, kind of like overblown on the news. Or
It seems like the social media tried to make it seem like
it was more
terrible.
than it was. Yeah. Because I saw, do you know Harlan Williams?
I do not.
I think you might. In Dumb and Dumber, when they get pulled over by the cop and he's like, "You boys been sipping back on Grandpa's cough syrup?" He's like, "Give me that bottle." And they're like, "No, don't," because it's pee. And he drinks it. He's like, that guy. That's Harlan Williams. So he was at the burn this year, and he apparently had a great time. And he liked my comment on Instagram
That's great.
like a week ago.
That's cool.
It was awesome. I couldn't believe it. He thought one of my jokes was funny.
He's a funny guy.
Mm-hmm. People reference that movie almost every day of my life, so it's kind of fun to be able to have some plays along with. He's also the guy in Half Baked who feeds the horse. "Oh, hey Peanut, you want a candy corn? Oh, you're a hungry little fella." "You cop killer!" "I'm not a cop killer." Oh my god. That's him. He's the one who goes to. They all have to go to. They sell the weed to save him. That's what Half Baked is all about. Is saving Harlan Williams.
Yeah.
There's a great Chappelle Show skit, like a sideline skit, where he didn't make it to the real show, but they're like, I wonder what would have happened if Half Baked was like in the real world. Basically, like Harlan goes to jail, and they're like, "Oh man, that sucks. Let's get fucking stoned, bro." And they just leave him and get stoned. And then then there's a scene where they actually have to save him. They're like, "How would we really save him in the real world?" They're like, "Oh, let's sell heroin." That's the only way. You got the ball? You want to be in the podcast? My dog wants to be in the podcast. To 0 viewers. That's okay. We're doing this. Give. That's not how you give. That's alright. Yeah, we're doing this. Yeah, I had a crazy day, dude.
Speaking of Dumb and Dumber, when I was at Tilted Stick, I met someone from Aspen.
No way. Samsonite?
Yeah. It immediately Dumb and Dumber popped in my mind.
That's so good. Aspen. I love that part where they think they're in Aspen and it's Nebraska. And they're like, it's pretty flat. That John Denver was full of shit.
Yeah.
It's a good one. That's pretty funny.
Rocky Mountains.
Yeah, they're not very rocky. Or that part when they're actually in the Rockies and he's like, my hands are so cold. And he's like, here, take this second pair of gloves. You've had a second pair of gloves the whole time? Yeah, it's the Rockies. when they're together and he's like, I have to pee, and he's like, just go. Oh, I wonder if that's really. Do you think anybody's ever done that for real? That's probably like a real move. To pee on someone for warmth. Do you think that it would be like end up being colder because now you're wet and that wetness will freeze?
I think it would eventually.
I think it would be a bad downfall. What if I think they really would have got frostbite dick? If that's a real scene.
If frostbite dick a thing.
Yeah. Can you imagine getting frostbitten to your homie's butt? Like,
so
you tell the ER like, look, I don't know, man. Like, this is not what it looks like.
his butt falls off and your dick falls off.
They're just this little one piece.
Turns black.
Well, at least it got to be black once.
Have you ever seen frostbite?
Yeah, I've seen it on like Mr. Deeds.
So
Like what?
I knew this old man.
You knew a real person with it?
I knew this old man in New York,
I was thinking to get amputated.
and he was an alcoholic.
Right?
He would drink every night in his truck. And one night he's drinking in his truck, and he gets out and falls down and can't get up.
Like a Life Alert commercial?
Basically,
Help! I've fallen and I can't get up.
but he eventually got up.
Oh, okay.
But it took him so long that he got frostbite on his hand, and his skin literally was like deteriorating and dying. And it
No.
was the gnarliest thing I've ever seen.
What? Like you saw it happening?
Yeah.
You found him in the snow?
Like I knew him after they found him.
Whoa. He was just old. God, that sucks. You just fall on the way to get paper and now you have no arm.
Yeah.
Dude, why do you live where the snow is? Like,
Literally just started eating.
that's why old people move to Florida. Because nobody who's ever moved to Florida to retire has fallen. There's one of my hairs on your arm. I'm sorry. But no one who's ever moved to Florida has retired and been like, I'm gonna get the paper, and then they walked outside and froze to death. Like, it's just never happened. That's why they do that. They go to Boca Raton so they don't freeze the dead bones. That was a pretty. I tried to go for a better pun, but it's okay. Boca Raton is in Florida, right? Like, those syllables almost mean nothing to me, but for some reason I feel like Boca Raton is a real place, and I think it's in Florida.
I've never been there.
But I think it's real. It sounds legit. If I had to put money on it, I would say Boca Raton is a real place in the world. And I am out of pocket. So out of pocket. My addiction is being showcased so highly with this podcast. What? Oh, it was in my pocket the whole time. That's the funniest part of it all. We have a real viewer? Oh, shit. That is pretty cool. Thanks for tuning into the Galactic Seabass channel. Right now we are live with my pal, Chris Lowry. I'm not really sure I ever said his name, but this is my buddy. We have been friends for a long time, since the before times, and we're here live in Ocean Beach at 2:30 in the morning doing a podcast for, apparently, you. So, thanks for being here, my friend. We are 38 minutes into episode 20. Episode 20. You know, Chris, I've talked about this a couple times on the thing, but check it out. Like, you know, they say 90% of podcasts don't make it past the third episode, right? And then, like, out of the next 10 percentile, only 10% of that make it past 21. So we are one episode away from meeting the threshold of where most people will never make it. If I can make it to this next episode, I'm in the top 1% of podcasts ever. Even if I only have one super cool viewer who's for some reason turned in, like, what are you doing? If you're here, drop a comment in the thingamajiggy and we will respond to you in real time. because there's really nothing else to do here. I had a pretty cool time at a concert. I went to court, broke up with a woman. It was a neat day. You know, it was a neat little day. Although I do have her washer and dryer. So if I don't get my cell phone charger back, I will be selling these on the internet. That is a cool thing about the internet. You know, you can just throw something on there and like someone comes to your house and just takes it away for money. You're like, that's sick. I like that a lot.
They take both. Some people are bad.
Some people are interesting in those regards. You never really know. I don't know if I have enough airflow in here for Ollie.
Maybe I should.
Let's we'll do a little wrap up. I feel ironic, so I'm about to hit this.
That's okay.
It's a smaller like dose, and I don't know. Oh my gosh, there's 2 people, 2 humans watching the Galactic Seabass podcast, episode 20. We are live here in Ocean Beach, San Diego, on September.
29th.
Yeah? Oh, we're at the end of September. We're almost in spooky season, guys. It's just around the corner. We're 3 days away from spooky season. I am so excited. I think I'm going to dress up in a costume every single day for October this year. I have a plan. So I'm turning 30. Kind of nervous. Like, I didn't think I'd make it this far.
When is your birthday?
November 26th.
Okay.
So check it out. I have this idea that I'm turning 30 and I want to do 30 song covers in a row. So I'm going to go on this new music account I have. It's a secret music account, so you have to follow it by chance. And I'll do a different song cover every day for 30 days until I turn 30. And then I'll just drop original music every day. It should be kind of fun. But I think it'd be a really cool way to like engage the audience and have them like pick songs and I'll cover them and just sing it in the car or something.
Right.
It could be kind of fun, like cool, interactive way. But I did have this really fun idea for a music video that I want to film. That I showed to my buddy before we left for the concert, which is like it's the silliest idea ever. But it's right there. Basically, like it's Eminem's "Lose Yourself," but every line is about spaghetti. Like every single line is somehow related to spaghetti.
Yeah, I remember.
Do you remember that?
I do.
A couple of years ago,
Yeah.
I wrote that thing. So
it's golden stuff, right?
I feel like it's proper content, and it might be the kind of thing that people want to like make audio remixes with. It seems to me that social media is really kind of evolving in the way of like creating an audible usage, like creating some kind of audio stream that other people can utilize their video content with and have that become viral. And if you're the main source of the audio, then it's a really good chance that like people can backtrack to you and find out where they came from. Like it seems the whole social network is so hard to manage these days, and I don't really know what I'm doing. And just use the term the social network unironically. Like I didn't even mean to use that as a pun. It was a great film. But
I don't know shit about fuck.
That's what Plato said too. So you're actually pretty smart. Maybe it was Socrates. He said, "All I know is that I know nothing." I saw some comedian yesterday, like, what an asshole on his deathbed, like the smartest guy of all time, and just said, like, "I know nothing," and all these other smart guys are like, "Wait, what? Like, do we know anything?" Just send humanity back into like the spiral of questioning themselves for another couple hundred years.
There's a song.
Who wrote the song?
I believe the lyrics go, "All I know is that I don't know. All I know is that I don't know nothing."
Well, "don't know nothing" is a double negative, but like, who sang that song?
I'm not quite sure.
That is not very useful information, Chris. You have to understand that I need the information to go off of to get more information out of. Anyway, we're doing this, guys. We're here. We're almost an hour in. We're gonna make it to an hour on podcast 20 here on the Galactic Seabass channel. Welcome to my flipping house.
Galactic Seabass.
I live in Ocean Beach, and I'm hanging out with my friend Chris and my boy Ollie, and my boy Andy's taking a nap because his eye's all funky. Real deal, his eye is not great, so I need to take him to the doctor. If you would like to support the podcast, there is more information in the description below for a Venmo, or you can donate to Ollie's GoFundMe. And that will go directly. Ollie's all good. He's fixed. But if that money goes to him, then I'll send that to Andy. We have to go to the doctor. Because something's up with his eye. He might be a little pirate cat. He might lose his eye and have a little eye patch on. I don't know what's going on. He's the most beautiful little perfect kitty ever, and I feel terrible. But he's got to go. I got to make sure he's good. I got to make sure he's okay. That's my boy. And if I was sick and he was looking after me, I'd be like, hey dude, why haven't you looked at my eyeball yet? I know you've seen it. What's funny is he has like one funky one, like it's regular but it's foggy, and then now his good one is all not doing the light thing. It's not dilating. It's not. Just the pupils are different. It really freaks me out. So. That's why there's a previous version of this podcast that I only had up for like 20 seconds because I couldn't figure out the orientation. But I really liked the thumbnail because it was a picture of Andy and I liked that a lot. So I left it up there. And I don't really care. So you can look at that picture if you want to see Andy's eyeball right now, because it's actually a really good showcase of what it looks like. If you zoom in to the thumbnail of the last video before this. It's probably me just like, why can't I fix the camera? And then it turns off. But it was just the orientation button. I just had to fix the button. They added a new one.
The hardest button.
It was in the advanced settings. Yeah, I had to change the settings of the video. Because when I went to go film it after I made the description and everything, it was like, you need to tilt the camera. And then I tilted it back to this way, and I didn't want to film it this way. I wanted to like this. And so it just took a little bit of effort, but podcast 20, dude.
Podcast 20.
We did it. And you got to be a guest.
You're in the Ocean Beach.
You're the first guest to ever just like walk in on it, which is kind of cool. Like maybe in the future that'll be a thing too. We'll be like in the studio and somebody's like, hey, can I come in?
Yeah, just popping by at casually 2:30 in the morning.
I like it. You know, it's not so bad. I literally, if I could tell you how hard it was to find my neighbor earlier, did I tell you?
You kind of briefly told me.
Basically, the dude couldn't handle his shit, and I waited at the car in the parking lot for over an hour. Over.
So you didn't know where he was.
And by the time I called him, he's just like, yeah, I'm across the street from the place that we were. What does that mean? What am I supposed to do with that information? And every time I asked him for a pin, he would just FaceTime me and then show me his face. I was like, I don't care about your face. Give me a street sign. Give me an intersection. Give me your address. Give me something that I can, something that I can find you with. And it took at least 2.5 hours until I found this guy. And what was crazy is like an hour 45 into it, as I was losing all my patience, all my mind, I was ready to dip on him and just go home. This random, super intoxicated gentleman walks up to my car, just leans on the window, like, what's up, bro? And he ends up living a couple blocks away from where I live. And so I just went taxi mode, like, yeah, give me cash, get in, I don't care, like, whatever. So he gave me $30 and he jumped in. And I was about to leave my neighbor, the guy who brought me to the show, and he's like, dude, this guy in the back, you already made it this far, bro. You gotta hang in there and get the homie. So finally, I get him to give me a street address, and I just say, okay, don't move, sit there. It's literally 4 miles from the festival. He just like, just walked and went down like a main road and into a suburban area. This dude was off his rocker. Found him, finally brought him home. Gave me this beer, and I didn't get to go to the bar, but I was able to, film this podcast and hang out with our little online virtual friend and my real friend Chris here in real time. Cheers, my dude. Totally. Totally dropped the lighter on purpose. That was all a ploy for expedited views.
Well, at least you found him and everybody was safe.
Basically, the goal was like I knew that this guy was on some kind of a thing, and he was innocent, so his account might be at risk. And if his phone died, he was basically a dead man. You know, like he's just stuck out there in not the right state of mind, 40 minutes from home. You're not getting back. You're not walking there. That's not going to happen by sunrise. So it was
I
my,
think that's called stranded.
yeah, I felt that it was my responsibility to make sure that he got home safe. And I know I'm not his mom or his dad or his uncle or his brother, but like,
Oh, get them.
dude, real deal was the first time I ever hung out with that guy. I can't hang out with him anymore. Like, I don't think I want to go out with that guy.
He sounds pretty wild.
It just like he was like the opposite of wild. Like I went on like an average wild with him, and he's just lost his shit and couldn't handle it. It was so annoying. Like, dude, I got to the point where I was screaming at him, like, "Drop me a fucking pen! Where are you?" And he's like, "We're by some trees. I'm on a road. I'm by the corner. I'm on the corner. I'm gonna sit here and wait for you. Can you send me a pin?" And I was like, "I've sent you 17 pins, bro. I'm gonna kill you. Like, I'm gonna stab." I told him I was gonna straight up murder him. Like, that's to the point of frustration I was at. And it's not like I would, like, I had any kind of, like, ill intentions, but it's like, dude, what's wrong with you? Like, I want to pick you up, you want to get picked up, where are you? And then you just don't give that information. It's like, it was just the craziest thing I've probably ever dealt with as far as, like, picking somebody up goes. That level of responsibility I felt was so unparalleled. Like I was his parent. So yeah, just one of those like, dude, if I had to get an Uber and get that guy in my Uber, like I would have got banned. Like,
Right.
that was way too much. And I'm sorry to like talk shit on this guy, but at the same time, like I'm not sorry. I don't, you can probably fucking hear me, and I don't care. It was so much. Thank you for the concert ticket. Thank you for going with me. And I'm sorry. Oh, well, basically, like, we got to the show, and we had lawn tickets. We're sitting in, like, the top risers, you know, like, it's like SDSU, or amphitheater, but it's, like, a little bit nicer. And so we're in, like, the lawn. Our seats are in the lawn section. We've skimped down a couple sections to almost the front row. We're almost in, like, the last seat layer, and there's a little, there's a lady watching a gate, and everybody's kind of like rushing in on the left side, so her back, she's the end of the aisle, her back is turned every like 30 seconds or whatever, and so I just grabbed the gate and kind of like opened it a little bit. Yeah, and I literally sat there for a minute, and I watched some kid take my entry first, and I was like, damn it, I knew it worked! So I just went for it.
Scooter?
No, it did just like, it was just kind of like a shimmy, like it just shimmied back. While she was doing this, she's like, bloop, and then like you just go and you go sit down. And so we went, and I scurried, like I followed him, and I scurried into these seats. We sat down, and all these girls were sitting down next to us. And then some people came over. They're like, hey, these are our seats, and all the girls had to get up, like, oh man, like, oh sorry. And then the lady was like, oh, I remember I was 18 once, and I had to be like, yeah, these crazy kids taking seats, what assholes. And meanwhile, we're just like totally loitering in this section. So I, basically, I told my guy, check it out. Right in front of us is a railing. In front of that railing is a little sidewalk with some seats and a railing. And then over that, as you go down, you're on the pit with one gate fence,
Right.
like one little like stack fence. And I was like, okay, when it goes dark, on 3, we're gonna go. Like, we're gonna do this. And so, like, we waited for the first song to start. It was cool. The drum line came up. It was sick. And I watched a couple people, like, try to do the same thing. And then I saw one girl successfully do it. And I was like, all right, it's game time. So I told the guy, like, 1, 2, 3. And I went on the fence. I ran, jumped the second one, grabbed the gate, went over the gate, took my hat off, you know, like, ran into the crowd. And just like got in the center, and then eventually I waited a few minutes to put my hat back on. But homie never made it. Like he never. Apparently, what's crazy? This is so crazy because the guys we were sitting next to, like in that front row stage, I had a conversation with them for a minute. Like, you know, hey, oh, this is sick. We're here, like, oh, it's gonna be cool. And they had VIP lanyards. Like, they had to pay money for these seats,
Right.
which was insane. We literally walked there, and then I saw them on the way to the car, like on my first trip to the car. They're like, dude, we saw you fucking bolted, bro. You made it, and then your homie tried to jump the fence, and he fell, and his wallet fell out, and security came over. And I was like, what?
Damn.
Dude just ate shit hard. Like, tripping his balls off, too, bro. Like, the fact that he didn't get kicked out of the venue is... He might have got kicked out of the venue. There's, like, a high probability they escorted him out, and he, like, never realized, like, he's
That
not
might
allowed.
explain why
Dude,
he was
that-
4 miles away.
He fell on the gate, missed the show, and then never made it back. Thanks for the tickets, bro. I had a great time. I literally had a fantastic time.
It's amazing.
The worst part about it was literally picking up this guy at the end of it. I couldn't believe it. I can't believe I hung in there. The kid who I gave a ride home gave me $30.
It's good
I
though.
was like, that's sick, and the guy paid for my drink too, which is dope. And wow, what a trip, man! That was definitely like not how I expected it to end, but we made it there. We got home safe.
Made it.
Made it. My relationship with this new girl did not make it, but that's okay. I did get a washer and dryer out of it, which is pretty nice. So hopefully I'll be able to. You know, I've yet to use it. I've yet to actually turn on the washer for my clothes. Like, I don't know if it's worth. It's so loud. It's just like.
They're usually pretty noisy.
It's a noisy machine. And I think I got her sick too. From the soul.
Uh-oh.
Maybe.
Soul sucking.
Maybe, yeah. A little bit of. I'm like a male succubus. No, I got the sniffles. I've been sniffling. I think COVID's trying to like show its face again. But if they try to release any kind of like mask mandate, any kind of quarantine restriction, lockdown, I'm over it. I think you and I were both super heavily like just pressed in the 2020 era of California lockdowns when the beach was illegal, when it was a fine for walking your dog at the wrong hour. Like it was so weird. Some of the best photos I took were
Crazy times.
I had to sneak to Sunset Cliffs with like cops looking with flashlights in the bushes and shit, like just to go get a photo of the bioluminescence. That thing was so cool. It was one of the coolest things ever. The fact that like nobody was in the ocean actually made it better. Yeah, dude. That's sick. Like it's funny to think back. Like I've taken some pretty high class stuff, and I don't really utilize it very much. But it's been an interesting endeavor for sure. Like creating all this content over the years. I'd love to be able to look back on all my best photos and maybe make like a calendar. Like I thought about making an OB.
Calendar's a good idea.
I thought an OB calendar would be sick because I have at least 12 dope ass OB photos for sure. Like, and then just sell that at the market or something. Like maybe they're like $10 a calendar. Like it's, almost a new year. Could be like a really cool little revenue stream. It's all my work. Maybe get my photo name out. It's kind of like cool little like. All I basically need is like the capital to make the calendars, like a few of them, and see if it's like a profitable endeavor. See how it goes.
Definitely possible.
Could be kind of cool. People like calendars. They help you like track
I
the
use
time and the
calendars.
date and stuff.
I have a calendar.
Isn't it crazy? It's all just since Jesus. Every date ever. It's just like, this long since Jesus.
Yeah. Since Jesus.
It's been 9 months, 29 days, and 2023 years since Jesus Christ. The affair that got out of hand.
Weird.
What's that one? You ever see that? It's like a TikTok or Instagram. It's this guy who puts his He basically goes to his wife and he's like, "Hey, sweetie, I baked a pizza for us," and she's like, "We don't have an oven," and he's like, "Oh, it's okay. God helped me do it." She's like, "That doesn't make any sense." He's like, "You see how that fucking sounds?" It's probably better done in the video, but I definitely like that one. Do you see how that sounds from this angle?
I gotta take a leak real quick. I will
Oh
be
boy,
right,
taking a little break.
right back.
I like that. What time are we at?
And I will keep.
Hey, we just passed an hour, buddy.
I will keep the cat in the room.
I like that. You know what? You can let him out. Doors are closed. I'm gonna take this bong up, and then we might say our goodbyes to the 0 people left watching this. But thank you so much to the people that tuned in. I am Sebastian, and we are here on the Galactic Seabass channel. We just did our 20th podcast. I just did my 350th set. We just picked up a dude who lost his mind. We found it again. Hopefully he makes it to work in the morning. I'll just go ahead and take this after on my own because I feel like I always get a little squirrely. So I'm going to go ahead and round the bend to say goodbye. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for spending time with myself and my pal, Ollie, and my buddy, Andy, who's taking a little nap. Hope he gets better. Again, if you're able to help, definitely, I would appreciate it. Just send it to the Venmo or the GoFundMe available for this little guy right here. Thank you so much for tuning into the Galactic Seabass channel. My name is Sebastian, and I appreciate you being here very much. And we will see you again next Thursday for the 21st episode of the Galactic Seabass podcast. We made it to 20. Now we're doing 21. Rock and roll. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate your support. Like and subscribe. I love you very much, buddy. You're a good boy. And I hope you guys have a good evening, a good morning, wherever you are. Best of luck in all your endeavors, and thank you for tuning into the Galactic Seabass channel. My name is Sebastian, and I appreciate you very much for watching this today. And I'll see you again next week for another episode. Or maybe we'll make something in the meantime. I don't really know. So go ahead and stay tuned. We'll go ahead and see you soon. Hope that all your flowers bloom. And keep on whistling your favorite tune. I'll see you around, everybody. My name's Sebastian. This was my pal Chris. Thank you so much for tuning into the Galactic Seabass channel. It's been a fun adventure today. Chris, thanks for being here with me. Really appreciate it. And hope you have a great rest of your whatever time of day it is. Take care, everybody.